Poverty as a Challenge. Chapter 3 Economics, Class 9. Poverty. What is poverty? According to World Bank, poverty is pronounced deprivation in well-being and comprises many dimensions. It includes low incomes and the inability to acquire the basic goods and services necessary for survival with dignity. Now, let us look into the situation of poverty in India. India has the world's highest number of poor children, amounting to a total of 97 million, or about 21.8% of the Indian children population between the age groups 0 to 17 years. Meanwhile, the incidence of poverty dropped from 55.1% to 16.4% over the last 15 years. The 2019-21 data observes that about 16.4% of the Indian population is poor, out of which 4.2% live in extreme poverty, as their deprivation score is more than 50%. About 18.7% of the population is vulnerable and is likely to be pushed to extreme poverty. Out of the vulnerable population that comprises between 20 to 33%, two-thirds fall in the category where one person is at least deprived of nutrition. India's population is by far the highest, with 228.9 million poor people worldwide, followed by Nigeria 96.7 million according to 2020 data. Among the poor, about 21.2% belong to rural areas, against the 5.5% who live in cities. The rural population account for 90% of the poor, amounting to 205 million out of 229 million. What is the major reason for poverty in India? The major reason for poverty exists among agricultural laborers. The most important cause of poverty in India are poor agriculture, growing population, gap between rich and poor, corruption and black money. Poor agriculture. India is mainly an agricultural country. About 80% population of our country depend on agriculture, but our agriculture is in a bad shape. The major cause of poverty is unequal distribution of land, especially agricultural land. There is a class of population called landless laborers. They come under the category of poor. Most of these poor migrate to urban areas and work as casual laborers. What do you understand by human poverty? Human poverty refers to the denial of political, social, and economic opportunities to an individual to maintain a reasonable standard of living. Illiteracy, lack of job opportunities, lack of access to proper health care and sanitation, caste and gender discrimination are all components of human poverty. Women and children, especially the girl child and the elder people in a poor family, are regarded as the poorest of the poor because they are systematically denied equal access to resources available to the family. Now, let us look into the basic concepts of poverty line basket, and poverty ratio. What is poverty line? The conventional approach to measuring poverty is to specify a minimum expenditure or income required to purchase a basket of goods and services necessary to satisfy basic human needs, and this minimum expenditure is called the poverty line. In urban areas, it is 1286 Indian rupees per head, and in rural areas, this is 1059.42 Indian rupees per month per head. Poverty line basket. What is poverty line basket? The basket of goods and services necessary to satisfy basic human requirements is the poverty line basket. What is poverty ratio? The proportion of the population below the poverty line is called the poverty ratio or head count ratio. Now let us look into the global poverty trends. In 2021, an estimated 698 million people, or 9% of the global population, are living in extreme poverty, that is, living on less than $1.90 per day. Over one-fifth of the global population live below the higher poverty line, that is $3.20 per day, and over two-fifths live below $5.50 per day. According to the World Bank, the countries with the highest poverty rates in the world are South Sudan 82%, Equatorial Guinea 76.8%, Madagascar 70.70%, Guinea 69.30%, Eritrea 69%, Sao Tome and Principe 66.7%, Burundi 64.90%, Democratic Republic of Congo 63.90%. Now, let us look into the government strategy for elevation of poverty in India. The current government strategy of poverty elevation is based on two main pillars. promotion of economic growth, and targeted anti-poverty programs. Promotion of the economic growth. India's economic growth has gained momentum since 1980, and from then it becomes one of the fastest in the world. The growth rate almost doubled from the year 1970 to 1980 and 1980 to 1990. The higher growth rate has significantly helped in reduction of poverty. Economic growth strengthens people to help them to get rid of poverty. Now, what are the targeted anti-poverty programs? These are the following schemes under the targeted anti-poverty programs. National Food for Work Program, Swaran Jayanti Gram Sarvosgar Yojana, Sampurna Gramin Rozgar Yojana, Rural Housing or Indra Awas Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana, Rural Employment Generation Program, Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. These are the targeted anti-poverty programs. Now, let us look into these programs one by one. The National Food for Work program was originated by the Minister of Rural Development of the central government on November 14, 2004. In 150 of the most backward districts of India with the objective of generating supplementary wage employment. The program is accessible for all economically insecure Indians who are outfitted to do manual unskilled work and are in the need of salary profession. It is executed as centrally sponsored scheme. Food grains are provided to the states for no money. Swaran Jayanti Gram Sarvosgar Yojana was launched in April 1999 by Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee to promote self-employment among the unemployed rural population. Swaran Jayanti Gram Sarvosgar Yojana was introduced by the Ministry of Rural Development to assist the poor families living below poverty line in rural areas for taking self-employment. The scheme is funded by the central government. Sampurna Gramin Rozgar Yojana. The primary objective of this program is to provide supplementary and additional wage employment, thereby providing food security and improving nutritional levels in all rural areas. The secondary objective of this program is creating durable community, social economic assets and infrastructure development in rural areas. Launched in the year 2001 for rural self-employment. Pradhan Mantri Gramin Awas Yojana, previously Indra Awas Yojana, is a social welfare program created by the Indian government to provide housing for the rural poor in India. A similar scheme for urban poor was launched in 2015 as Housing for All by 2022. Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana. It aims at reducing the shortage of houses for below poverty line families in the rural areas and also assist in the health development of the habitat in these areas. It aims at meeting rural needs like primary education, healthcare, drinking water, housing, rural roads. The Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana was launched in 2000 to 2001 in all the states and the union territories in order to achieve the objective of sustainable development at village level. The Rural Employment Generation Program came into a vision on 1st April 1995. It was crucially recommended by the High Power Committee, which was thereafter fully launched by the Prime Minister of India. With the main agenda of creating the flourishing 2 million jobs in rural areas of the country, it was a good show. The target group consisted of the rural poor and unemployed in the town where the population count is not more than 20,000 as per 91 census. Ensure adequate employment in rural locations. Ensure entrepreneurial skills and wisdom among the unemployed youth of the rural location. Ensuring the target for the rural industrialization is achieved. Inviting financial concerns to provide credits to rural industries. These are the main objectives of Rural Employment Generation Program. Now, the Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana. It is a central government initiative that aims to provide self-employment opportunities to educated youths who are unemployed. Scheme launched in 1993 offers an unemployed loan to youth and women. The Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana is a nationwide plan in India to provide good all-weather and connectivity to unconnected villages, launched in the year 2000 for rural development. The anti-poverty measures taken to decrease neediness in India have been helpful in the following ways. Speeding up economic growth, expanding the pace of capital arrangement to create greater business, open doors and increase efficiency of work. Also, it helps in increasing productivity by enabling business to operate more efficiently. Rural growth and poverty alleviation. Rural development has been perceived as a significant variable that adds to the checked decrease in neediness. A review made by the Montauk Aluvalia, a previous individual from the Planning Commission, But obviously, the rural development and destination are contrarily related. The higher horticulture development program lower neediness proportion. Rural development is directly related to poverty alleviation. Fast development of infrastructure. Framework improvement comprises working streets, roadways, ports, telecom, power, and water supply. Speeding up human resource development. Human asset advancement requires a more noteworthy development in instructive offices. For example, schools to advance proficiency, professional universities to import abilities to individuals. Further, human asset advancement requires medical care by open interest in primary health centers, dispensaries, and emergency clinics. Development of non-farm employment. Non-ranch business is made in promoting transportation, handiworks, dairying and ranger services, handling of food and other agrarian items. Accessibility of credits to the poor based on simple conditions can make the circumstance for little ranchers access useful assets. For example, high yield variety seeds, components, and the development of minor water systems like wells and tube wells. This will empower the little ranchers to take on high yielding innovation to raise their efficiency. The public distribution system is focused on poor people's families is a significant component of the methodology for destitution decrease. The central government organization Food Corporation of India acquires the food grains from the ranchers at the base cost and stores them in the stockroom situated all over the country. Future of poverty in India. The 2022 UNDP project on global multidimensional poverty indicated that India was successful in bringing 415 million people above poverty line from 2005 to 2006 to 2019 to 2021. An IMF study has estimated that extreme poverty remained below 1% in 2019 and in the pandemic year of 2020. The World Poverty Clock assesses that the percentage of extremely poor in India would fall below 3% by 2024. The financial year 24 union budget may also continue supporting the poor through well targeted subsidies and income support with policy emphasis on health and education services, along with infrastructure expansion. These would help India effectively eliminate extreme poverty in the next few years while substantially reducing its multidimensional poverty. Thank you. For detailed notes and question and answers, log on to eduguru-notes.blogspot.com. If you like this video notes, please do subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you.